colleagues, one more announcement and we are done. Resignation from ADC and declaration for Labour Party. Maybe all those defecting from ADC should just compile everything in one paper and bring, so that we don't keep announcing. Well, I think ADC is dead. The question is, how many times can you defect in a month? Once. But many, some have done 3 times. So that's why I'm saying, as the spirit director, that's the voice of the gods. I'm ready to keep announcing, but let us compile all, so that it doesn't look like a daily ritual.
Welcome back. A bit of mockery there for the ADC coming from the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio. So when you thought that over the weekend the furore, arising from the defection of Mr. Peter Obi and Alhaji Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso to the NDC from the ADC was going to lift, it appears as if no, it's just gathering. And so is the ADC truly dead? Let's speak with an ADC chieftain now who joins us this morning on the program. Aredele Momodu is an ADC chieftain. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us on the morning brief.
Good morning, and how are you today?
Very well, thank you, sir, and we hope you're doing well as well.
Oh, yes, we thank God, always. The rain is falling heavily in Lagos, but the weather is also very cool, so maybe it will calm all the frayed nerves in Nigeria.
Indeed, and we wonder what the weather is like in the ADC camp. The President of the Senate says the ADC is dead. We've seen after the weekend mass defection in the House of Representatives from the ADC to the NDC, and so some would say this is a movement of the Kwankwasiya and the obedient loyalists to the NDC. So what is it for you? Is it a relief for the articulates in the ADC camp, or is it a huge loss of people and resources that should help in your election? So which one is it?
Well, let me start with the statement by the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, who I consider a friend and a brother. You know, he loves comedy a lot. And for him, sometimes he cracks expensive jokes. He will crack very expensive jokes. Anyone who knows the political configuration of Nigeria will know that ADC today, despite the movements out of it by the obedience and the Kwankwashias, remains the leading political party today. Don't forget that ADC was also largely an offshoot of PDP. And you can see the kind of realignment. You could see what happened in Ibadan just 2 weeks ago, that people saw the capacity of ADC when it was invited to Ibadan for a joint meeting with the PDP. So, I mean, if you look at it, the next election will be majorly decided by the APC and the ADC, God willing. Of course, others have a chance. In the last election, the Labour Party, where Peter Obi was at that time, came third, and the NPP, where Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso was, came fourth. So as of today, you still have a lot of the political juggernauts. I don't know what happened. Can you see me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. So a lot of the political juggernauts across Nigeria are still currently in the ADC. And also, I always like to mention this, that the largest political party in Nigeria is not APC, it's not ADC, it's not NDC, it's not NNPP, it is what I call the floaters party of Nigeria. The floaters are the ordinary people like you and I in Nigeria who are not interested in parties. So that is why the arrogance of APC say, oh, we are big, nobody can beat us. There is no way they can defeat the floaters party of Nigeria. So the floaters are there waiting to inflict severe punishment on those who have made their lives worse in the last 3 years or thereabout. So when the Senate President said ADC is dead, with all due respect to him, he was just joking. He couldn't have meant it. And he knows they are jittery. He knows the truth. So let's leave it at that. Thank you.
Okay, so you say they're jittery, but let's get right to those serious issues. Mr. Peter Obi, in his reflective statement put out over the weekend, citing reasons for his exit, absolved Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and the leader of the party, former Senate President David Mark, of blame of any form of maltreatment in his exit. But we also, read from that statement where he said those who would rather spend money on resources instead of politics are not appreciated. And so the conclusion many have reached about his defection from the ADC to the NDC is that he knew he was not going to get the ticket after all, with Alhaji Atiku Abubakar in the room and with a lot of spending to get the tickets. What are your thoughts on that?
Peter Obi did not leave ADC because some people were going to outspend him. There is no politics and there is no election in the world where you don't spend money on logistics. People tend to think that money in politics means bribing people. How many people can you bribe?
Spending money on logistics.
Logistics, yes, everywhere in the world, in America.
Inducing delegates to secure their vote for you, do you describe that as logistics?
It's not about delegates. Even now, it's a lot easier for Obi to test his popularity, but he ran away from testing that popularity because all it takes now is either consensus, so there are no delegates, or you go and do open direct primary. When you go to that primary, it is everybody, registered party members, that will vote. So if you are popular, you will get the vote. But he knows that there is no way, whether direct, indirect, consensus, it will be difficult for him to beat a man who brought him to national prominence in 2019, to beat a man who has meticulously and diligently pursued his dream since around 1992, 1993, and has not given up. That is the hallmark of a serious politician. He builds every electoral cycle, brings him closer to his destination. So I would have wished that Obi would wait and test his popularity in ADC. That's number one. Number two is that Obi is afraid of his supporters. They already told him in advance that if he agreed to be vice president to anyone, they are going to disown him. They said it. Aisha Yesufu said it. Patutomi said it. They all said it publicly. So let's stop hiding behind one finger. Obi did not leave because of Atiku. Obi left because he knew he lacked the capacity to take on an Atiku. And possibly even Amechi. People tend to underrate Amechi. Amechi is not a small fry in politics today. He's been Speaker in Rivers State House of Assembly for 8 years. He's been governor for 8 years. He's been minister for about 8 years. He is not a small boy. As a matter of fact, amongst all of them, the only person who has only been a governor is Peter Obi. But he has It has, this fanatical support base that you cannot disregard. So, and they drive me, and for me, that's a turn off. I told him in this house in Lagos and in Ghana that look, you will need to find a way to speak to your supporters. Your supporters cannot go into a coalition and insist that it must be you or nobody else. That is a major turn on for a lot of people. That in democracy, the foundation of what we are doing here is democracy. So if you are afraid of testing your popularity in a small party and you think you can take on the entire nation, where you have Tinubu, who has acquired the majority of our governors, senators, House of Reps, and so on and so forth. So how will you do it? They say, oh, we don't need structures. We are the structure. No problem. We shall see it again when that day comes. That you need to join hands and forces with other opposition leaders for you to be able to achieve. You were the last to join them with Kwankwaso, and you were the first to jump ship, claiming that it's not because of money. Please don't let anybody deceive you with sophistry.
So what does this say then? Does it say more about the people now left in the ADC, Atiku Abubakar and the rest, or does this say more of Mr. Peter Obi's person?
Yeah, it's more about Mr. Peter Obi's person. He's not able to rein in his supporters. He has a mortal fear. I told him one-on-one, I said, you are a leader, lead your followers. You cannot be praising Atiku. He's a good man, he's a good man. And yet, your people every day, it's as if Atiku is the one they are meeting next year and not Tinubu. I've never seen such in my life, where people attack members of the same party when you are not going to be competing against them at the general elections. So why don't you praise your own candidate? Praise your own candidates to heavens. Do your geography. If you like, your apotheosis. Nations are not led by saints. Nations are led by performance. Not even the Vatican is managed by a saint. So the apotheosis comes after you are long gone, and then they will determine if you merit a sainthood. The mistake in Nigeria is always that we're looking for saints to manage us instead of looking for performance. I've studied Alhaji Atiku Abubakar since 1993 in Jos when he stepped down for Chief Moshood Abiola. I've read his books. Interestingly, I just stumbled on it again this morning. That is his life. I've read so much about the man. I've worked directly with him. The only man who has the temper, the temperature, the temperament for democracy in Nigeria today is Alhaji Atiku Abubakar.
Right.
I refuse to support Tinubu, who are no longer than anyone else, because of this propensity for tyranny. And I warned on your channel in 2022, I spoke to Shehu Okinbagodi. I said, if Tinubu becomes president of Nigeria, you will see what is called dictatorship. And today, I am very right. So, people are a bit careless. All we are looking for is somebody is restrained, and that's all. But Tinubu today has shown the lack of national experience. The reason he is embroiled in a lot of the difficulties today is because he was only that local champion in Lagos State where he could do and undo. But when he came to national, he couldn't manage some of the people who brought him into power. Nothing we fight today is languishing in detention. Partly because they were afraid of him, his rising profile and all that. So look, what we need is a true Democrat. Right. We have a way of wasting them. I pray that we will not waste Atiku Abubakar.
Well, so for a lot of people who are watching, they're still trying to understand. You call them, I think the term used was drifters or floaters. That was the term used. The biggest political party in Nigeria, floaters. So for these floaters, the average Nigerian, they're wondering, okay, if you say that this is about democracy, democracy is about give and take, why would an Atiku Abubakar want to run for president at this time when there is that understanding that, oh, we have two major regions, so let's do give and take. 8 years north, 8 years south. South has just done 4 years this time round, so why would the northerner want to be the front liner? So for people who don't understand that, they see him as someone who is hell-bent on leading the country in spite of what they think is common sense, right? What do you say to those floaters who make up majority, and they're the ones that will vote and decide who the next president will be?
I am surprised because I respect you a lot. You walked into your own trap, and I will ask you a simple question. Tell me when ever in Nigeria you had 8 years of North, 8 years of South. Tell me one example.
Well, this is not my question. It is your question to answer.
No. It is you are asking questions. You are supposed to inform those who watch you regularly.
Well, so recent history, and I'm going to humor you. I'm going to humor you, Chief Momodu. Yes. Recent history. Muhammadu Buhari did 8 years. Simple as that.
Yes.
And by the way, I don't have any horse in this race. This is really not my business. I'm going to get to vote eventually. I'm not running away from it. I'm just positing. I'm positing my point. Yes, I'm positing my point. So please allow me. So Buhari did 8 years. Tinubu has done 4 years. So naturally, common sense says if the North has done 8 years, allow the South to do 8 years. Simple. Recent history.
When Yaradua did 3 years, so who did the rest of the time? Yaradua came after Obasanjo. He died in power. Jonathan took over, completed their first tenure, completed his own tenure, and was allowed to run again. If he had won at that time, he would have done a total of 9 years. So I am asking you, tell me where this relay race started and where it ended, where you had a southerner, a northerner, a southerner for 8 years. Just give one example.
Well, you have over 200 million people to convince. Well, at least 90 million people to convince. So this is, you're not convincing me. Believe me, Chief Momodu, I'm a lost cause. You cannot convince me. This is not for me to be convinced. This is you answering the questions that have been raised by Nigerians. It is not me you're trying to convince. It is the Nigerians who say, allow the South do their 8 years, then the North can come to do their 8 years and ensure that we have some sort of balance. This is a democracy. It's a country that has those regions. So if that is your answer to them, I hope they're listening and I hope they're taking it. But here's...
You brought me here to ask me questions. And I am answering you to
No, you are asking me questions. No, you are asking me questions. You're not answering. That's what you're doing.
No,
so please answer.
I said it has never happened.
No, you asked
me. If you can contradict it, it has never happened. So if you can contradict me, please go ahead and contradict me. I have no problem. I will apologize to you. It has never happened. And it is not in the constitution of Nigeria. You want to practice democracy without a constitution? Everybody, including Buhari, they were contesting every electoral cycle. Even when Yaradua, who comes from the same Katsina state, was in power, Buhari was still aspiring to be president of Nigeria. So why is Atiku so different? Everybody speaking, and so once the constitution allows him to do it, whether it is commonsensical to you or not, let him exercise his constitutional right. Don't bully him away from his constitutional right. That's all I'm saying to you. And if you have any way to contradict me to say that has been the pattern, I will apologize to you.
You know, Chief, you're doing what you say the supporters of Mr. Peter Obi are doing. I'm not the enemy here. I'm asking their questions. You're fighting me.
I asked you a simple question.
I know. So here's the thing.
By now we abuse you. I don't abuse people.
I know. So the point I'm trying to make is you are targeting me. This is not me here. You are convincing Nigerians. So the response.
You with such lies.
No, the response should be to Nigerians, not to me, Chief Dele Momodu. I'm not a politician. I am none of the supporters.
I am targeting those who tell you those lies.
Okay, so speak to them, not me.
Nobody will debunk those lies.
All right. So here's the next point. So from what you say now, it seems that this was doomed to fail from the scratch. I wonder just how much of a risk assessment you did, or the ADC did, that Mr. Atiku Abubakar did ahead of the coalition. Did you ever say, okay, these are the risks, this is how we will mitigate it, and ultimately, how much of a loss is this to you, or do you think this is good riddance to bad rubbish in that sense?
No, I am not an arrogant person who will dismiss anybody. Everyone is important in politics. Talk less of a man who had about maybe 6.1 million voters supporting him in the last election. I think Atiku would have had 6.7 or 6.9 or thereabout, and Rabiu also had 1 point something million. So I would have expected them to stick together. At least test your popularity. If you say only one man can be presidential candidate in a party, or of co-joiners, that is our geography. It means that we're not serious about democracy in Nigeria, and we should be serious about testing. It's a game of number. It's not a game of emotion. It's not a game of where you come from. Where you come from cannot be the automatic qualification. Otherwise, then why can't Tinubu continue? If you say it's about 8 years, then why are we going to waste trillions on an election if we do not need to scrutinize? What I expect you and I to be debating now is that what does Obi offer? What does Amici offer? What does Atiku offer? What does Kwankwaso offer? What does Tambuwa offer? We have a robust lineup of experienced Nigerian politicians that can be the president of Nigeria. That is what we should be, not where you come from. Now should do so automatically. Whether the South or the Southern aspirants cannot prove that they are better than their northern counterparts, we must pick them because of the emotion that it is. So I mean, for me, I'm a part-time politician. I say it all the time. So I live on my modest income. I do my job modestly. But if I'm going to leave Tinubu because of what I call dictatorship, I cannot fall into another dictatorship. That is my own personal opinion, and I'm comfortable with it.
So if this risk assessment was done, perhaps the decision would have been different, or maybe closer home to what the numbers that the opposition is gearing up to, scoop in the 2027 election will be decent for a victory. Because with Mr. Peter Obi and Mr. Kwankwaso's defection to the ADC, some would say that's about 7 million plus votes that have already gone to the NDC if there's going to be a repeat of the 2023 feat in the NDC, and what you're now left with is about 6 million votes, and that doesn't go anywhere. So some would say that the opposition is already split. And what was the Ibadan summit all about anyway, when the opposition said we are going to present only one candidate? So was it just a political distraction?
My dear sister, you don't calculate politics like peanuts. Are you saying that Tinubu will retain all the 8-point-something million people that voted for him last time? How are you sure the Atiku will retain all those who voted for him last time? What is the guarantee that Obi and Kwankwaso are the only people who will retain all those who voted for them last time? The situation has changed. Tinubu today, if he allows a free and fair election, might not even get 3 million votes. Despite all the governors, we saw how 3 out of 5 G5 governors in their states, in Enugu, in Abia, in Benue State, how they lost just senatorial seats. They couldn't even guarantee senatorial seats for themselves. So for us at ADC, we are focused, we are steadfast. Those who want to join should join. Those who don't want to join, you cannot succumb to blackmail. That only one man can make us win. In 2019, Atiku and Obi joined. They did not win. In 2023, they went their separate ways. They did not win. So why would you panic? My old mom was an unlettered woman. She taught me something. Stop running from whatever is chasing you, because you might run into what is chasing you. So just stay. Now they all agreed because government chased them. Not that they all wanted to work together from the beginning. You should remember that it was Tinubu who forced all of them together. And that is why they all moved in one direction. Which would have been beautiful, because it would have been like a 2-party race, like it happened during Abiola and Bashir Tofa. So, but in this case, let everybody go and test. If somebody says, I don't want to be your wife, why would you force yourself on that person? And there's no guarantee that Atiku would even defeat Obi at the primary, because they are going to throw it open. But he chose to go. A part of the reasons it gave was that there are too many litigations there and there. We don't know where he has gone to now, if there are litigations or not. It doesn't matter to me. I wish him the best. He's not my enemy. Okay, so it's good that you go and test his popularity elsewhere. So let others also, but you cannot force Atiku out for a man, because the man said, if me and Kwankwaso come together by 12 o'clock, elections will be over. I'm not that puerile. Okay?
So what
I've been, yes, go on, please.
So what numbers, if the odds have changed ahead of 2027, what numbers can Atiku pull off?
I won't talk about numbers because I am not clairvoyant, but I will talk about the things that have changed in Nigeria that will give him an opportunity. Majority of the votes, go and check, and I'm sure a lot of journalists don't even check the electoral figures. Go and check the figures from 2023 and see how Atiku did. Go and check from 2019 and see how he did. In 2023, majority of the votes came from Northeast and Northwest, Southwest. Okay? So go and check the numbers. Elections in Nigeria are decided on 3 things. Number 1 is ethnicity. Number 2 is religion. Number 3, which runs parallel, is a lot of cash. So I know what I'm talking about. Go and check my article, Google it, in search of mathematicians, Buhari versus Jonathan in 2014. I wrote the article. Check it on Google. You will see how I predicted the figures. Those figures don't change. Last time, Tinubu was helped by the presence of General Momodu Buhari of blessed memory. That's what helped them in APC, because they had an incumbent president.
Right.
So now, General Buhari is out of the equation. So the next in line now is Atiku Abubakar. Then you have the others like El-Rufai, like Tambuwa, and all of them. This is what will decide the numbers in the next election. You can disregard it and say we're very popular, we're very popular. I am telling you, there are people in Nigeria, there are people in Nigeria who know these things I'm telling you about, that it's not just about I am popular, it is more than that. You need structures, you need to protect your votes, you need to do so many things, you need to pay your agents nationwide. Go and check how many places the other opposition parties were able to police last time. We have all these things. We work with statistics, not with emotion.
Right.
Popularity alone cannot make you a president. Alone cannot make you a president.
So on a final note, for those who say that you have just succeeded, and I'm talking about the coalition that has now been split into the NDC and ADC, has succeeded in handing over 2027 election to President Bola Tinubu yet again. We're going to have a repeat of what happened in 2023, where the votes were split. You say that you think the president might not get as much as 3 million, but you don't want to say what you think that Mr. Atiku Abubakar would get, and that's okay. So this is my final question to you. In terms of what each of the candidates have to offer, right? Mr. Atiku Abubakar, you've been supporting him and you've been unapologetic about it. For the floaters as well, 6 million plus. A lot of them support at Peter Obi, a lot of young people, people in the diaspora, people who think that he's not a part of the structure of criminality, as has been said. So you have met Mr. Peter Obi. I think you visited him in London some time ago. You've worked closely with Mr. Atiku Abubakar, Rotimi Amechi as well, even the president. I'm sure you've had close interactions with him at some point. What will make you choose an Atiku Abubakar over a Peter Obi? And again, this is not for me. This is for people who are trying to understand your rationale, because they see Peter Obi as someone who's simple. They see him as someone who represents that humility that they want to see in their leader.
I don't see anybody more humane, more humble than Atiku Abubakar. And I don't know how someone who has never been prosecuted and convicted, you call him a criminal. Whoever they refer to as the criminal among them. And I don't know any saint among them. I don't know any. But we all choose, just like we have Muslims, we have Christians, you choose who to follow without disparaging the other unnecessarily. So what makes me choose Atiku, number one, is that he's a consummate Democrat. I am a Democrat. I believe the foundation of every government should be democracy. And Atiku has proven me times without number that he is a true Democrat. He loses election, he goes home. He will go to court, and thereafter, once he gets the verdict, he goes home. He has never been violent since 1993 that I've known him when he stepped down for Abiola. He was supposed to be VP, he didn't get it, he did not throw tantrums like the wicked and all that. He went home. And then later, God still made it possible for him to be vice president. So for me, it is temperament. There are people, if they take power today, they will summarily deal with their enemies in the name of fighting corruption. That is not my kind of leadership. I want a leader who is clear-eyed, a leader who has managed people and resources, his own personal business in 2007, without any government support, because he does not even control his state. He's there in his house. You will not find thugs around him. You will not find him discussing how to go and rig in INEC. That to me is a good leader, regardless of misgivings or the disparaging comments of people they have disagreed at one point or the other. Atiku is a good man. I will say it with my full chest. He is a very good man. People say it's about money. Money, he does not have 1% of Tinubu's money. I am not 1% as close to him as I am close to Tinubu, but I chose principle. I chose democracy. I chose comportment. I chose godliness of friendship.
All right.
My country is more important than friendship.
Indeed, and you have the right, to choose based on your personal reasons. So it's not left to Nigerians to decide, how much of a Democrat the other aspirants are at this rate. And speaking of Nigerians, they are responding to you on the matter of power sharing for, the zones, and citing the time spent by the North during the military era, in power as well. So they're saying that, what's the point anyway? But that will be another conversation for another day. I see you're smiling already. Mr. Dele Momodu is a journalist, publisher, and ADC chieftain. Thank you for coming through on this conversation. And might I add also an articulate, an unrepentant articulate.
Fully articulated, fully. You know, how can you add military? Do military people do they?
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, so we're going right straight to the next conversation, and Kadi has got this one.